Hello everyone, this is the video that shows the red weight refinement through foolproof software that we have taught on the class. If you have any point that are missing on the class, I think this video can help you memorize it. And since our homework too is highly related with XRD refinement, I hope this video can be helpful for you during your study. So now I'm going to show how to do the foolproof refinement again in this video. We open the folder on the desktop. In here, we find the lithium cobalt oxide.dat file, which is our data file. Before we're doing any refinement, we should know some very important informations, which will be really helpful. First, we need to know the X-ray wavelengths that we use to do the XRD. And also we need to check the space group lattice parameters of the material online. Then we'll open the foolproof software and go to WinPlot first, as I have shown on the class. In here, we can import our XRD raw data and do a background generation. So this is our raw XRD data. Then we go to the point selection panel to get the automatic background. So the basic threshold shown is 0.05, and we don't need to make any change with that, and click OK. As you can see, the background is generated based on what we have so far. And then we don't need to do anything with it. We just need to save the background points and click save. Yes. And in this file, we should see that background and click enter and OK and click. Since we don't have anything to do to change the background points, we click no. Okay, then we close this, and we have this data file, this XY file, and this background file. And now we go to the EDPCR, which we're actually doing the red weight refinement, and going to the new data. And we click the general, which will name the title of the refinement, which is this. You don't need to change anything with this, and click OK, and then to the pattern. We need to add a new pattern, which have this, and the data file we have is the XY sigma data file, which we have also included just now. And then we'll go to desktop, go to XRD refinement, go to lithium cobalt oxide. So this is what we have. And then we'll go to the refinement and simulation, and it's based on the X-ray. Okay, so it's not pattern calculation, it's not neutron. And as I have just shown you here, it's from chromium. Therefore, we need to change this to chromium. And then we click the pattern and the peak. The peak shape we need to define it here. As Mike told our class, it's a combination of Lorentzian and Gaussian peak. Therefore, we choose this pseudo wedge, and you don't need to make any change further. Then click OK. And the background type, since we generate the background by ourselves, we have this linear interpolar between set background points with the referent heights. And click. Now we need to save the refinement. As we do, click OK. So now we have this file in here, which is a PCR file, and we are going to do the phase refinement for the to define the phase for the material. And the name of the phase, as we have already logged in here, the space group is R-3M. So we change it like this. And we also include the symmetry at the same time. And once you click symmetry, it will pop up as the same, so you don't need to input the symmetry by yourself, and click OK. And now we will change this to profile matching to first match our profile with the R-3M space group and see how good it is before we do Then we click this contribution to patterns and click here is X3, and here again is the combination of Gaussian and Morrison, which is a pseudo weight, and then click OK. And finally, just double check if this is correct and click OK. Let's save it again before it goes further, and then click the refinement button. In here, it actually consists of several sections. So let's first go to the profile and input the ABC parameters first. These parameters are what we checked online from the database. We should be very close to our own sample. So here the A and B are 2.81, while C equals to 14.5. And the alpha, beta, and gamma are 90, 90, and 120 respectively. So after we input this, we click OK, and then we need to input the background of our material, which we just input from here, and click OK. And then we should change here, which is 30. So we'll click OK and save this, double click it, and before we really do a refinement, we need to check it again. Make sure we have everything changed here and here, and background is okay. And then before we do that, we go to the instrumental and click the 0 to make sure the XRD pattern does not pump out for all the way. And then we click this Run Foolproof Program. Okay, as it is shown here, it will first just do a basic profile matching with the XRD pattern we have with the simulated data. And we should then close this and click yes. So then we go to the refinement and refine the A and B and C parameters one by one. So since A and B are correlated, we can click them both and click OK. And before you do anything, click Save Data and then do it again. So now you see the profile is gradually matching. Okay, and after 30 cycles, it's still changing a little bit. And then you should change the C lattice and click OK again. So the profile is changing based on the input we have, and since it hasn't finished with the 30 cycle, so it's better to save and let it run again. Okay, and now we would like to see, okay, A, B, C, and alpha, beta, gamma. So these are the basic things that has been set and refined right now so far, and click Save Data and let it run again. Okay. Okay, as you can see, the R factor is getting lower and lower in each cycle, and click yes. It means the refinement result is approaching better. So then I'm going to do the UVW refinement as I show on the class. Now let's start with the U. So this three factors actually tells you with deal with the peak shape of the material, and it's determined by the full width half maximum of the material. And you can see the black factor dropped dramatically, and the patterns looks much closer. But it's not good enough, so we need to save it and let it run again. Okay, so it doesn't change much, and it stopped at cycle 6, so it means we have to try something else. As you check the V factor, you can see the peaks approach better with the material, and therefore we can save this and save this. Then we'll go to the W. You can see after adding the W1, the whole patterns matched well with the XRD data we have. And let's run it again. In this case, after we run the UVW, you can see the peak, which is simulated by the rabbit refinement, matches closer to the right data points that we have so far. And we should click save it again and see what we have now. So this is the A, B, C factor we have, and the gamma and UVW. After this kind of refinement, I would recommend you to back up all the things we have so far. Okay, so this is the backup, and in case if you mess it up or have some crash, which I think you probably already experienced, we can have a backup. So normally when we do the UVW refinement, it's not that smooth as I just show you. So you probably need to unclick one of them and just change, refine them one by one, like what I'm showing you now. But since it works, it's just seems everything will be okay. Okay, so the next step, we're going to put them together and do a final run. Okay, the next step is to change the symmetry limit of the material. So here I want to import it as 60 and click yes, and then click yes. So in this case, we can refine the asymmetry parameters from our XRD result. And what we just set is that below 60 degree, the asymmetry parameters will be refined. And let's see what we can have. So comparing to what we had just now, you can see the bragg factor and R factor improves dramatically from 2.5 to below 1. And normally at this state, everything works well. Okay, just to double check it. And yes, okay. And after this step, we can do what I just do now. Okay. So next step is to improve the atom position of the material and do the real photo refinement. And let's click here and put it here. And here, we don't need to have this profile matching with constant scale factor. Instead, we go to the structure model and red weight method. Meanwhile, we need to go to here and change the reflection list to automatically generate from the space group symbol again, and click OK, and then click OK. And now we save what we have changed. Now here you can see the atom node can be clicked right now, and then we click here and see what we have in our material. We have 3 atoms with 3 different locations. So put 3 here and input lithium, cobalt, and oxygen, and symbol as. So this asks you the chemical composition of the thing. So and for lithium, we have 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. For cobalt, we have 0, 0, 0.5. And for oxygen, we have 0, 0, 0.239. And so B factor is a thermal factor, which we don't need to deal with so far. And the occupancy of it should be 1, 1, and 2 based on the stoichiometry. And we click OK, and click OK, and save it. And before we do any refinement, we need to save this again. Okay, this is what we have now, and it's already here. And before we do the refinement, we need to check the scale bar in case the result cannot converge. Click OK and save it again. Now do the refinement. And as you can see, you can get a slightly higher bragg factor and R factor because of them. You have more parameters to be fit now. And let's see, you haven't refined anything yet, but this has been changed. And you have to save this. Next, we are going to refine the detailed atom position to give a better relative refinement result. And since this is 0, 0, 0, we don't need to do anything with it. And normally the 0.5 should not be changed, but let's see. It doesn't cause any change to here. And then let's refine the oxygen Z, which is the only variable we can have in the parameter. Okay, and click yes, and click atoms, and you can see the number changed a little bit. Now we are going to change the occupancy of the material, and since lithium and oxygen are both light elements, so we would like to refine the cobalt occupancy first. Okay. And C is very likely to what we believe it to be, and I actually don't recommend you to refine the occupancy of the lithium and oxygen since they are light elements and can be hardly detected by X-ray. But let's see what will happen if we refine these two as well. So you see the parameters change a little bit, but you see it varies a lot with the refinement result, which we actually don't want it to be. Therefore, we need to change them back. And let the program to reduce refinement again. So this is what we had just now. And now I'm going to refine the B factor of the material one by one. Again, we would like to go with cobalt first. As we refine the B factor of the cobalt atom, you can see the bragg R factor drops a lot, and it's below 10 now. But we need to check if this result we got is reasonable, because the B factor by definition it should be a positive number, and it shouldn't be a big number. Normally it's below 2. And I think since lithium and oxygen are light element, the B factor of them shouldn't be very accurate. And this doesn't change much. Actually, it's even worse. Therefore, I don't recommend you to I don't recommend you to accept that. But let's see what change has been made. So you can see this two number is still within a reasonable range, but this number is unreasonable right now. And actually, for B factor, it should be normally below 2. So I would recommend you to change this back to 0 and click OK. And therefore, that factor has been fixed with our refinement, and actually our refinement result is actually better. And you'll see this is what we had just now, and that's it. And this is our refinement result, and you can see this is the output of it, and this are all the data we have. So that's basically what we had, and this is the PRF file that we can refer to our refinement result. And within the origin, we can actually put this in. So here it shows how it briefly looks like when you plot the data in the origin, and black one is data, red one is fitting, and the blue one is the difference between these two. You can see it's very close. You can do further in the origin to make the seal looks better. And then let's go to the PCR to record the R factors we have. So we have a break R factor, which is smaller than 10, and also small RP and WP factors. So that's all for this video, and thank you for watching. Hope it will be helpful for your study.